He is a solitary hiker in a field of memory, a man who has reached the age when questions must be asked, answers must be sought, and stories told. It was a lifetime ago, on a hillside much like this, that Roby Albouy led 11 young Americans to freedom. He was with the French resistance. They were the crew of a B-17 bomber, shot down over occupied France during World War II. Remarkably, only one man was injured in the crash. No one was captured by the Germans. Albouy led them across the Alps and gave them the chance to grow old.
The guy was a little bit out of focus who took that picture, because I wish I could tell the mountains in the background.
All that remains of that moment is a small picture snapped of happy faces, no names. Those who fought in the resistance were never told names.
I'm sure they had no idea that, you know, their adventure would wind up that way.
Roby was told the men were bound for a bombing run over Torino, Italy. On the way back, the crew was forced to bail out in the vicinity of Saint-Bonnet, France, about 50 miles south of Grenoble. It was summer, probably 1943, but you couldn't tell that on a mountaintop. Albouy found and trained each man to do the impossible, pick his way across the Alps over passes the Germans thought impassable.
There's a big difference between flying at, say, 15,000, having 50,000 feet of air under you, and then being on a cliff where you have only 200 feet, but it's between your legs. There was no such thing as not being free. See, the time in my life where I've felt the freest, you know, free as a deer, is in the underground. And you live a little bit like a deer. And the feeling, the enormous feeling of freedom, you can sit on top of a mountain and look at all the bastards with your field glasses and say, I do what I want.
The climb into Switzerland took 7 days. Their code name was Stefan. They left only their smiles. After liberation, Albouy met and married a Georgia girl and moved to Colorado.
My coming to this country was just pure adventure, and lovely because nobody shot at you.
When you stop and think back now and put it into perspective, during this time of great killing, part of your job was to save lives.
In a way. And then in some measures, we owe our life to some of them.
Oh yes, Roby Albouy has a son. He is now the same age Roby was when those flyers crashed in the night.
Now get your tummy gun. Okay, now push your head a little bit this way, okay? Okay.
Friends back in France have never seen him, so Roby is taking a snapshot of his own.
Okay.
The boy's name is Stefan.
Super.
Tomorrow, the son of the freedom fighter starts his own adventure, and we'll take a look. For today, Bob Dotson, NBC News, in pursuit of the American dream in Aspen, Colorado.